Yeah, like Ilan was saying, we've got a whole bunch of rock stars with us in the show today, the guys behind the scenes who made it all happen. So the main purpose of having this webinar is to just quickly take you through the main changes, the main differences between the old application and the new one, and then to allow you to ask us questions and let the guys who made it all happen participate and give you some really good answers. Okay, so we try to not completely move the towels, as they say in marketing jargon. We wanted to make sure that people using the new version, coming from the previous version, wouldn't find themselves completely unsure about what to do. So it's not upside down. We just made a few tweaks, and we've added some really great features that I think will benefit traders in the long run really, really very much. I just realized that I better close my email application and some other programs on my desktop, otherwise I'm going to be disturbed again and again. So excuse me for a second. Great. What you'll notice at first glance when you're looking at new application is that in the old version we had two adjacent lists, two separate grids and columns that had, the one was for completed patterns and the other one was for emerging patterns, and that has been done away with in the new version. I'd say that's the main difference visually between the two versions. So what we've done was actually to consolidate all of the patterns into a single list, not only completed and emerging, but chart patterns, Fibonacci patterns, key levels, everything now is under this home tab. We left a couple of tabs like the chart patterns, Fibonacci patterns and key levels just for sanity's sake, so that people can find their way around if they're looking specifically for chart patterns. But really the way forward for us is to focus on the home screen, on the home tab. On that one you'll be able to find everything and get access to everything that you want. It's the most versatile and it contains everything. So merging all of these things have really allowed us to resize the application and give it a better aspect ratio, which also kind of make it more suitable to, you know, laptops with smaller screens and that kind of thing. So now you're thinking, how am I going to sift through the chaos of literally, you know, it could be hundreds of trading opportunities depending obviously on what markets you're looking at. Well, for that reason, we've created this results filter in the middle. I'm just going to use my little highlighting tool, draw a little block around it, not the very straightest lines. This results filter is really the area where you can choose to include or exclude certain analysis types or pattern types. Usually when I talk about pattern types or analysis types, we mean chart patterns, Fibonacci patterns, or key levels. So with a lot of thinking and developing behind the scenes, the team has made it in such a way that you can actually update this on the fly. So when you uncheck these boxes, it takes out the things that you are looking at in the grid until there's nothing left. If I check everything, there'll be nothing left to look at. So I can include any one of these 6 different types of patterns, completed or emerging, chart, fib, or key levels. Now, the reason why we made this change is mainly because what we've realized from a lot of our traders is that a lot of guys place an equal amount of importance on emerging patterns than they do on completed patterns. So you're not going to look at either the one or the other. There's a lot of traders that look at both. This is one of the reasons. The other is obviously we want to consolidate views for markets like smaller stock markets. You know, some of the Asian stock markets have far fewer trading opportunities coming through today, and for them we wanted to consolidate it as well. So that's why we did that. Another very important feature we made, and this I think is probably the winner of all the features, the one thing that we've been wanting to do for a long time, and for various reasons never got around to it, was to include this filter based on relevance. Really, is a pattern still relevant or isn't it? And for that we've created these two tabs. I'm just going to highlight them again. We've got active opportunities and expired opportunities. Sorry, just a side note, one thing that I was meaning to mention is if your results filter disappears, just click on this link called results filter on the middle right hand side of the screen. It can scroll up and down, open up or close, what's the word, expand or contract. And this is, I find my laptop screen is usually a little bit small to have the results filter open and to see enough patterns in the grid below. Okay, so this tab, the active trading opportunities tab, is it performs quite a complex task in the background. What we aim to do with it is to only show you patterns that are still tradable. And okay, so that means patterns that either haven't reached their target yet, or that where the price didn't shoot off in completely the opposite direction as what the expectation is for the pattern. Okay, let me think about how I'm going to say this. Something new that we brought in that enabled this is also the age column. It's this column right here on the left, sorry, on the right. And you'll see that everything in this column is marked as a number of candles, 0 candles, 1 candles, and so forth. This is how we are now sorting this grid. Previously, it was sorted chronologically by the time that the patterns came in as they were identified. The problem with that was that the shorter term patterns stole the show, like 15-minute, 30-minute patterns. They came in thick and fast and basically filled up the grid from the top. And we had longer term patterns like end-of-day patterns being pushed down down to the bottom of the grid, and eventually it just fell off the grid, even though these patterns were still very tradable. So now what we're looking at is the age in candles, meaning how many candles has formed after the pattern was identified. So on the price graph, we see there's this this vertical line that indicates now this is the time when the pattern was identified, and all candles subsequent will be drawn in clear outlines without being filled. I'm just going to zoom into this one quickly, just as an example. So after the pattern was identified, you'll notice that there are two new candles formed. This means that this pattern has an age of 2 candles. So it gives us a way of sorting trading opportunities in terms of relative freshness, if I can put it that way. The best new opportunities are at the top, and we're looking at age in candles. Also, we're looking at length, so the longest patterns will be higher up. And we're also looking obviously at the time when it was identified. So it's a much more complicated or complex. The complexity is all behind the scenes, but it's much more sophisticated. Let me use that word rather, in bringing you the relevant and the fresh trading opportunities first. Now, when an opportunity reaches its target, it shifts to this column, to this tab called the expired opportunities tab. One of two things can shift a pattern over to be expired. Either it reaches its target, like this one did, That'll be the same pattern. Let's just see if there's an example of one that doesn't. Well, the other reason for a pattern shifting into this tab is if the price goes completely in the opposite direction of what we're expecting. It's nice to see that a lot of them do go in the expected direction. Okay, well, you'll see them coming through as they come through here. So what this distinction does between active and expired trading opportunities is it allows you to only focus on this tab while you're following a pattern, and if you have been following it and it suddenly disappears, then you can find the reason why, and obviously it'll be a signal for you to know, hang on, this pattern is no longer valid, don't trade it anymore. So that is, I would say, the best feature of the new version. Another thing that we've done was in previous versions we had the searches on the top left here, the search window. It was applied to it was applied only to specific pattern types. So we had searches for chart patterns, you had a different set of searches for Fibonacci patterns, and a different set for key levels. Some of you may not even have realized that it is a very counterintuitive sort of, I can't call it a feature, it was really just a thing that crept in as the application was developed over time, and we had to address that. So now, when you're creating a new search, it is basically a search that applies across all the pattern types. So the same thing, it works in much the same way. You select your group, whatever you want to look at. Let's say I want to choose Australian Stock Exchange, and then filtering the search, where previously it had only a very specific set of search criteria, depending on whether you created it for chart patterns or Fibonacci, you could only choose those criteria. But now there are 3 tabs, and it allows you to create or to supply filtering criteria for each one of those different pattern types. Chart patterns, Fibonacci, and key levels. Hang on, my screen hasn't refreshed yet, I see. I'll just leave this open for a while until you can see my screen. So those are the main features. The size that has changed, the consolidation of all the pattern types into one screen with the results filter, the sorting by age in terms of relative freshness, and obviously expiring trading opportunities that are no longer active, and then finally the searches that is also now being consolidated. There on the screen you should see the three tabs for the 3 different search types, pattern types, sorry, under the advanced search section. Okay, so the intention with this webinar has been keep it really short, the introduction short. I just wanted to cover these points with you. I think I've probably missed out quite a lot of stuff, and that's why Ilan and Yvette are there to help me fill in the gaps.
Eric, you missed out the coolest feature of all, Eric.
What is that?
I'm not sure how useful people will find it, but certainly it's the coolest thing for me.
What is that?
Can I quickly grab your screen?
Yeah, go for it.
The only problem is to show people this, I have to run my webcam, which means they'll probably get a glimpse of what I actually look like, and not the photoshopped, version that they see on the little email invitation.
I hope you're dressed, Ilan.
I am dressed.
Ilan is joining us from home.
Okay, here we go. Let me try do this.
While you're setting up, Ilan, I see a question by Ian Huntley just asking, the old Autochartist had a 70% prediction rate or accuracy in prediction. What is the new predictive success of Autochartist?
Oh, I've actually got those, Eric. I've actually got those open. Do you want me to quickly show you what I want to show, and then I can just run through some of those stats?
Yes, just give me a second to answer, Ian.
Okay, cool.
Ian, the changes we made has only been on the cosmetic front end. In other words, it's only the application that is used to show the patterns. We haven't changed anything on the recognition engines, so the accuracies stay exactly the same. In fact, Ilandia, while you're switching over, please show Ian the stats, and also if you could show him the link of where he can get access to the performance stats. Previously, you may recall we had a very thick white paper that we wrote towards the end of 2009 that explained all of these things. We've basically taken that study and we've automated that as well. So now you can get access to your performance stats, I would say almost live. We're updating it weekly, but these stats don't change from week to week because it looks at a 6 months or a 1 year window over which the stats are evaluated. So you won't see a change week to week, although we do update them on a weekly basis. So you should always see the latest, let's call it performance stats for the past 6 months for Autochartist.
Okay, so I'm going to switch my screen, Eric.
Yes,
okay,
please
now
do.
I wonder if who can see me. No one can see me yet. I wonder if my screen is refreshed.
I just want to put in a slight disclaimer with the audience. We're not very au fait with GoToMeeting. We're not very practiced with it, but it's something that we're starting to get more into because we think these live interactions are much better. So we're going to obviously improve our GoToMeeting skills, GoToWebinar. We are planning to have almost a similar session like this Q&A session every fortnight. So we're going to alternate. We'll have a guy presenting, one of our analysts like James Hychek or one of these guys presenting an interesting topic one fortnight, and then the next we will be doing Q&A. So at least once a month, hopefully you'll get to engage with myself and Ilan and the other guys on the team in a very direct way. So do join us for those sessions. We hope they'll be useful to you.
Eric, can you see my screen now?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, nice. Is that your iPad?
That's my iPad. So I just wanted to show people how Autochartist is actually running on my iPad. And check this out. So when I flip it, of course, the whole thing resizes and fits to my iPad screen, which is pretty awesome. I mean, you know, I do a lot of traveling, so for me, this is absolutely essential. So I think this is maybe not for everyone. That's not the coolest feature, not the most useful feature, but for me, it's certainly very useful and very cool. So when I'm on the road, next week I'm in Moscow. Eric, next week you're in New York, right? And it's going to be very handy to have this thing running on my iPad. So I'm pretty chuffed about that.
Show us the performance stats, please.
Stats, yes. Okay, so the one thing that has changed on the performance stats is that now we used to only have stats for chart patterns, and now we actually have stats for key levels as well. So there has been a slight addition to the performance stats. Did you say it was Ian, right, that was looking for that for the stats? I'm not quite sure which markets Ian was interested in, whether it's FX or New York or NASDAQ. But just to give a basic overview, on my screen here you can see this is performance stats for chart patterns, for forex over the last 3 months. And out of just under 1,300 completed chart patterns evaluated, 863 of them hit their forecast region, which is around 67% hit rate. Obviously, different brokers send us different data, so the statistics vary slightly by a percent or two up or down, depending on the data that the broker sends us. But they all hover around the 70% mark. Now, that's for chart patterns. I wonder if I've got some key levels. This is, here we go. This is statistics for key levels. That means breakout key levels that have broken through either support resistance and whether they hit their forecast level that we said, and that for forex market, since the kind of late September, we identified just over 1,000 of them, and 720 were correct, which is about 70% hit rate, success rate for key levels on forex. And of course, we have similarly statistics for approaching key levels, and approaching key levels, as Eric described to you, that's when there hasn't been a breakout yet. We've identified a price movement that's moving towards support or resistance, and on the forex market there we're on about 76% hitting the key level. The one very interesting statistics I picked up just now, actually in preparation for this webinar, is approaching key levels on New York Stock Exchange. Eric, I'm not even sure if you're aware of this, but we're up to 81% hit rate. That means just to elaborate for people. So if we have this is an emerging. I wonder if my screen is updated yet. I'll give it a moment to update. On my screen, you see an emerging pattern on New York Stock Exchange for Anglo Gold Ashanti, and it's approaching. This is an approaching key level down to 40.25. So we're saying that key levels of this nature, where they're approaching certain levels, we're sitting on about 81% hit rate of being correct, which I think is absolutely amazing. I mean, I think key levels has been a groundbreaking new product for us anyway. I mean, everyone knows that the market works on these horizontal support resistance levels, and I think our statistics are starting to show that.
Ilan, Yvette here. So I just want to, we've got an interesting question from Alan Ho.
Yes.
He says, what is the time frame for reaching forecast level? Are we saying that around 30% never get to the forecast level?
That is correct. So basically what we're saying, it's, I don't have the exact equation details, but from my understanding, we basically allow it one pattern length. So for example, if in terms of our statistics, if this example we see on my screen is of length 202 candles, that means we would allow it an additional 202 candles to reach its forecast level. Although I must highlight the fact that according to our research, about 65% of the correct forecasts reach their forecast level within the first 30% of the pattern length. That means that there's probably a 0.65 probability or 65% probability of this pattern that we see in front of us hitting its forecast region within the next, should we say, 70 or so candles. I hope that answers the question.
Thanks, Ilan.
Ilan, I just quickly want to jump back to your excitement about the iPad application. There's been a couple of questions, people asking about mobile apps and Androids and all sorts of things. Just to clarify, we haven't actually developed an iPad app. That what Ilan was showing you was just the Autochartist application in the default web browser, Safari. So if your mobile app has a half-decent browser, it should be able to use or to view the Autochartist app now without too much difficulty. So I think that should answer a couple of questions as well.
Yeah, I think the point of the new app, one of the things is that it resizes intelligently according to your screen. So although it will resize down to, I think, even probably like a little mobile phone, I think the reality for most of us is that, well, I certainly don't do any kind of very serious analysis on my mobile phone. I would either do it on my PC at home or my laptop or my iPad while I'm traveling. So we haven't specifically built a mobile phone application, but certainly, as Eric says, the web app, this app that you see in front of you, should work on pretty much any web browser out there and on a mobile device. Are there any other questions that Yvette, that you've picked up on that I should be answering? Because I see one interesting one is about which foreign stock markets are being covered by Autochartist besides the US markets. Maybe I can answer that question.
It's actually been answered.
If you Oh, has it been answered?
That one has been answered.
To the public or just to Mahesh?
To the public.
Go tell us, Ilan.
Okay, so if you click on new search on the top left of the Autochartist application, you can actually, by clicking on this little groups combo box, this little drop down, you'll actually get a very good understanding of what foreign or what markets in general Autochartist covers. So as we see on this list is Amex, Australia, CBOT, Chicago Mercantile, COMEX, forex, Hong Kong, global indices, Indonesia, Korea, London, NASDAQ, Nikkei, NIBOT, NYMEX, New York Stock Exchange, Singapore, Tokyo, Toronto Stock Exchange, and from my understanding, we're constantly adding new exchanges all the time. So there's quite a broad variety of instruments. In fact, I think, tell me if I'm wrong, but how many thousands of instruments do we scan, Eric? Probably 5,000, 6,000 instruments?
Well, even more than that, Ilan, but I think it's just important to clarify to listeners that it depends on which application you're using. For subscribers that subscribe directly to us, they pay a monthly fee, a monthly subscription. They get access to all of it. But certain brokers have just specific information, like customers of our forex brokers, for example, would mainly see forex symbols. Sometimes a few of them offer CFDs. So it depends on really what version of Autochartist you're using, what symbols you'll have access to. But the theory of chart patterns or key levels, support, resistance, market psychology, all of those, the theories apply to practically any tradable instrument, provided that there's enough liquidity for that instrument, and provided that there's this market action of the psychology of traders works effectively. And that's really so I guess there are two things. The question is this instrument being traded frequently, and is it being traded by a lot of humans and not just a bunch of quants bots? Then it applies, then it works.
Right, thanks for that, Eric. Yeah, that's exactly it. I forgot that everybody has their own data feed, and so we provide a unique deployment for every one of our broker partners.
Yeah, so the question came through, which broker would cover all of our research? None, really. It's each broker covers a certain aspect, what's relevant to their clients. So if you want access to everything for Autochartist, then you'll have to take out a direct subscription. Actually, I don't know if many of you know about this, but we've run a short campaign recently for people to give us testimonials. Yvette, maybe you can elaborate on that a little bit more, but you can, if you send us a video of your experience with Autochartist, then we offer you a lifetime free access to it. So Yvette,
Yes.
Is that still open? Is that still on?
Yes, definitely. Thanks, Eric. Thanks for bringing that up. We've actually received quite a few stunning videos from some of our customers, and if you'd like to participate in this initiative, please send me an email. It's yvette@autochartist.com, and I'll provide you with the detail. We just need a very natural, unrehearsed testimonial of what Autochartist has meant for you in your trading life, and yes, we'll give you a lifetime free subscription, whether you're a direct customer or with one of our brokers. So I look forward to hearing from you.
Eric, do you mind if I elaborate a little bit on the question about the market coverage? There are a few brokers that do have quite broad market coverage. For example, IG Index in the UK or GFT in the US and the UK. They cover global stock markets, and so Autochartist covers global stock markets for them because we use their data feeds to scan the markets.
Yeah.
So they may not have the complete Autochartist research. It's certainly everything that's tradable on their platforms. So if you have an account with if you have an account with GFT or World Spreads or IG Index or a broker that has broad coverage, you would get broad coverage in your Autochartist.
Okay, thanks for that, Ilan. Question
Why
just
don't
came
you,
through.
why don't, okay.
Ian is asking, does the length change automatically with the time frame on each chart? Ian, what the length indicates is the number of candles over which the pattern has been formed, and that never changes. So, for example, Ilan
yes, here we go. So I'm on the screen here. So if you're looking at the screen that I'm at my screen right now, and you have a length of this pattern of 202, that means there are 202 candles that have formed this pattern that we have found. And these candles are each of 240 minutes, which is 4 hours. That means this pattern was identified over 202 4-minute candles. And then obviously you can do the arithmetic to find out how many days or hours that is. But the length in candles is independent of the interval of the data in minutes. There's actually some interesting, I hope I've answered the questions, there's actually some interesting questions coming through about the new interface, and seeing as this is primarily a presentation about the new interface, the question is whether all of the brokers are offering our new interface. And the answer is yes, other than GFT. GFT right now is still using the Windows application, but from what I understand with the discussions with GFT technical staff, they're busy integrating the new web application into their Dealbook platform, and so the new look Autochartist application will be available in Dealbook within, I'm guessing here, within the next month or two. So other than that, all brokers are offering our new look application as you see it here in this presentation.
And now for something completely different. I actually wanted to quickly do something that I forgot to do in the beginning. I just want to check where in the world you are for all our listeners today. Quickly, if you wouldn't mind just quickly answering this poll for me, telling us which part of the world you're from, and then I'll quickly tell you the percentages.
Eric, you forgot to add Africa.
Yes, that was deliberately left out, Ilan.
Right.
We're based in South Africa. For those of you who don't know. Okay, I think that's enough of the poll. Thanks very much. 44% North America, 22% Europe, 26% Asia, 6% Australia, 2% Russia.
Well, I'm glad we managed to get some people from Asia at this time of day. It must be what, late hours of the night or early hours of the morning in Asia.
Yes, it must be. Well, apologies to all African viewers. We're right here with you in Africa, but we know the percentage is very small.
Hey, Eric, actually, now that we see so many people from North America, you're going to be in New York next week, right? At the Traders Expo.
Yes, definitely.
Which booths are you going to? Maybe the guys can say hello to you if they want to meet you.
I'll be walking around. A lot of our customers are exhibiting there, so I'll be walking around there. I don't have a specific schedule, Ilan, but
right.
I'll be wearing an Autochartist shirt, golf shirt. So yeah, if you spot me, come up to me and shake my hand. It'll be nice to meet you.
And if any of you in Moscow next week, I'll be walking around the freezing weather around Moscow. I won't be wearing an Autochartist t-shirt, so you won't know who I am. Anyway. Anything else we should cover?
I think our tech support guys are busy answering some of the last questions, so I don't know if you want to wrap things up. have you got any more jokes that you'd
You
like to
see,
tell
there
us? Or?
there are people coming in from Africa. In fact, from South Africa. I see a few comments.
Yes.
So that's a shame. They couldn't be part of
Very sad.
of the poll today.
Very sad.
Okay, guys, we are recording this presentation. All of the silly banter and all of that as well. If you need to refer back to it, you'll find it on our website. We're going to have event. We'll probably also make available a schedule of future events like this.
Yes, yes.
We really want to just have Q&A sessions with the core of the team. I mean, at the end of the day, we the decision makers in the company as well. So we need to hear from you and get your experiences and problems and all of these things that we can sort out. So send us your emails. We have a 24-hour turnaround time on support. Email us on support. Email us directly and let us know what gives you problem, what gives you pleasure, and we'd love to interact with you some more. Join us again for the future upcoming sessions as well. Like we said, there'll be quite a few more, and we'll be discussing more of the interesting topics that come out. There's still a lot of stuff that are going to come out with a new version. We might make a couple of tweaks, here and there. But what we really are focusing on now is looking at just how much these changes with the relevance and active trading opportunities affect traders on a day-to-day basis, and how we can improve on that even further. We have ideas of eventually adding or combining price levels or support or resistance levels to almost overlap key levels with chart patterns and Fibonacci patterns, and see where you have these compounded opportunities where there's even more intense action and a lot of different opportunities or signals confirming each other. So we have a lot of exciting projects on the go, but obviously most important for us is to know what makes you happy and what you need for your trading.
That's
so from my side, I think if there aren't any more questions,
I think, Eric, we should just
listening and thanks for joining us.
We should just keep the platform open for about another 5-10 minutes so we can answer the questions we haven't answered, get back to everybody, and then we'll sign off on the webinar. But you can sign out.
Perfect. I'll sign off. I'm going home to have a beer.
Good.
Thank
Enjoy.
you very much, guys. Nice
Thanks,
to
Eric.
have you all here.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, everyone.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye.